Superstitions have been a part of human culture for millennia, influencing decisions, shaping behaviors, and embedding themselves deeply into the fabric of society. But why do these beliefs persist, and is there any scientific basis for them? Today, we'll delve into the fascinating world of superstitions, exploring their origins, the psychology behind them, and what modern science has to say about these age-old practices. Imagine walking under a ladder, spilling salt, or seeing a black cat cross your path. For many, these events might trigger a sense of unease or a quick ritual to counteract bad luck. Superstitions are everywhere, from the mundane to the bizarre, but their persistence raises an important question. Why do we still cling to these beliefs in an age dominated by science and reason? To understand the roots of superstitions, we need to journey back in time. Anthropologists suggest that superstitions originated as a way for early humans to make sense of an unpredictable and often hostile world. When our ancestors faced natural disasters, illness, or death, they sought patterns or connections between events, even when none existed. This tendency, known as apophenia, is the human brain's natural inclination to find patterns in random data. Consider the example of the black cat. In ancient Egypt, cats, particularly black ones, were revered and associated with the goddess Bastet, who symbolized home, fertility, and protection. However, during the Middle Ages in Europe, black cats became associated with witchcraft, leading to the superstition that a black cat crossing your path was a bad omen. This shift from reverence to fear highlights how superstitions evolve based on cultural and historical contexts. But why do superstitions persist, even when we know logically that they're not true? The answer lies in the psychology of belief. Research shows that superstitions are more likely to emerge in situations involving uncertainty or high stakes, such as sports, exams, or gambling. In these contexts, superstitions offer a sense of control, providing psychological comfort in the face of unpredictability. One study conducted by psychologist Richard Wiseman involved asking participants to play a computer-based game where they had to move a ball to a target. Some participants were given a lucky charm, while others were not. Interestingly, those with the lucky charm performed better, not because the charm had any real power, but because it boosted their confidence and reduced anxiety. This phenomenon is known as the placebo effect, where the belief in something's efficacy leads to real psychological or physical benefits. Furthermore, superstitions often arise from a principle known as operant conditioning. This concept, pioneered by B.F. Skinner, suggests that behaviors followed by positive outcomes are likely to be repeated. For example, if an athlete wears a specific pair of socks and wins a game, they might start believing that the socks are lucky and continue wearing them in future games, reinforcing the superstition. Let's take a closer look at some of the most common superstitions and explore the science behind them. 1. Breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck. The belief that breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck dates back to ancient Rome. The Romans believed that mirrors held a piece of the user's soul, and breaking one would damage the soul. The idea of 7 years comes from the Roman belief that it took 7 years for the soul to renew itself. From a scientific perspective, this superstition can be linked to the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy. If someone believes they will have bad luck after breaking a mirror, they may unconsciously act in ways that lead to negative outcomes, thereby proving the superstition correct. 2. Knocking on wood. The practice of knocking on wood to ward off bad luck is thought to have originated from ancient pagan cultures, particularly the Celts, who believed that spirits and gods resided in trees. By knocking on wood, one could call upon these spirits for protection or prevent them from hearing any boasts or statements that might tempt fate. Modern psychology offers a different explanation. The act of knocking on wood can be seen as a form of ritualistic behavior, which reduces anxiety by giving the individual a sense of control over uncertain situations. Studies have shown that engaging in superstitious rituals can lower stress and increase confidence, even if the individual doesn't fully believe in the superstition. 3. Walking under a ladder. Walking under a ladder is considered bad luck, a belief that may have originated in ancient Egypt, where a ladder against a wall formed a triangle, a symbol of the Trinity. Walking through the triangle was thought to desecrate the sacred symbol. Scientifically, this superstition can be explained by the concept of risk perception. Walking under a ladder is genuinely risky because of the potential for something to fall from above. Over time, this practical concern may have evolved into a broader superstition, blending practical safety with mystical beliefs. 4. The number 13, the fear of the number 13, known as triskaidekaphobia, is so widespread that many buildings skip the 13th floor, and some airlines omit the 13th row. This superstition likely stems from various cultural and religious beliefs. In Christianity, the Last Supper had 13 attendees, with Judas, the betrayer, being the 13th. In Norse mythology, the trickster god Loki was the 13th guest at a banquet, causing chaos and death. However, studies show that the fear of the number the 13th may also have a cognitive basis. Research suggests that people are more likely to recall negative events associated with the number 13, reinforcing the superstition. This is an example of confirmation bias, where individuals pay more attention to information that supports their pre-existing beliefs. 5. Spilling salt. Spilling salt is often considered bad luck, with the remedy being to throw a pinch of the spilled salt over your left shoulder. This belief dates back to ancient times when salt was a valuable commodity. Spilling it was seen as wasteful and a potential cause of misfortune. From a psychological perspective, the act of throwing salt over one's shoulder can be viewed as a coping mechanism. It's a way to counteract the anxiety caused by the spilled salt, restoring a sense of balance and control. This behavior is closely related to the concept of superstitious conditioning, where a neutral action, throwing salt, becomes associated with preventing bad luck. But what is the role of superstitions in modern society? Despite living in an era dominated by science and technology, superstitions remain surprisingly prevalent. In a 2019 survey conducted by YouGov, 29% of Americans admitted to being at least somewhat superstitious. This number was even higher among younger generations, with 37% of millennials and 40% of Gen Z participants acknowledging superstitious beliefs. Why do superstitions continue to thrive in a modern context? One reason is the human tendency to seek meaning in randomness. In a world filled with uncertainty, superstitions offer a sense of predictability and control, even if that control is illusory. This is particularly evident in high-stress environments, such as sports or financial markets, where individuals often engage in superstitious rituals to enhance their performance or luck. Moreover, superstitions can serve as a form of social bonding. Shared beliefs and rituals, even those rooted in superstition, can strengthen group identity and cohesion. For example, a sports team that engages in a pre-game ritual, such as touching a specific object or performing a chant, may experience a boost in morale and team spirit, leading to better performance. Superstitions vary widely across cultures, reflecting the diverse ways in which societies interpret and respond to the unknown. Let's explore some of the most intriguing superstitions from around the world and the science behind them. 1. Japan and the number 4. In Japan, the number 4 is considered unlucky because it is pronounced shi, which is also the word for death. This belief is so pervasive that many hospitals and hotels in Japan avoid using the number 4 in room numbers and floors. This superstition can be explained by the psychological phenomenon known as associative learning, where two unrelated concepts, in this case, the number 4 and death, become linked in the mind due to cultural conditioning. Over time, this association becomes ingrained, leading to widespread avoidance of the number 4. 2. India and the evil eye. The belief in the evil eye is common in many cultures, but it holds particular significance in India, where it is thought that envy or malice from others can cause harm or misfortune. To protect against the evil eye, people often wear amulets, hang lemon and chili charms, or place black dots on their foreheads. Scientific studies suggest that the belief in the evil eye may be rooted in social psychology. In close-knit communities, where resources and opportunities are limited, envy and competition can lead to social tensions. The concept of the evil eye may have emerged as a way to explain and mitigate these tensions, serving as a social deterrent against envy and ill will. 3. Russia and sitting before a journey. In Russia, it is customary to sit down quietly for a few minutes before embarking on a journey. This superstition is believed to bring good luck and prevent accidents. From a psychological perspective, this ritual can be seen as a form of mindfulness, allowing the traveler to mentally prepare for the journey ahead. Research has shown that taking a moment to pause and reflect before a significant event can reduce stress and improve decision-making, offering a sense of calm and focus that might be otherwise lacking in the rush of departure. The superstition of sitting before a journey thus may serve as a practical psychological tool, wrapped in cultural tradition. While superstitions are often dismissed as irrational, the relationship between belief and biology is more complex than it might first appear. Studies in the field of psychoneuroimmunology have shown that the mind state can significantly influence physical health. Beliefs, whether rational or not, can have measurable effects on the body. 1. The placebo effect. The placebo effect is one of the most well-documented examples of how belief can influence health outcomes. In clinical trials, patients who believe they are receiving effective treatment, even if it's just a sugar pill, often experience real improvements in their condition. The brain's power to influence the body's physiology through belief alone highlights the potential real-world impact of superstitious practices. For example, if someone carries a lucky charm and genuinely believes it brings them luck, this belief might reduce stress, improve mood, and even enhance immune function, leading to better overall health. While the charm itself has no intrinsic power, the belief in its efficacy can trigger beneficial psychological and physiological responses. 2. Rituals and stress reduction. Many superstitions involve ritualistic behaviors, such as knocking on wood or crossing fingers. While these actions may seem trivial, they can have significant psychological benefits. Rituals provide structure and predictability, which are essential for reducing stress and anxiety. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that engaging in rituals before a stressful task, like public speaking or an important exam, can significantly reduce anxiety and improve performance. The researchers concluded that rituals, even those based on superstition, can provide a sense of control in uncertain situations, which in turn enhances confidence and reduces stress. But what is the dark side of superstitions? While many superstitions are harmless or even beneficial, some can have negative consequences. In extreme cases, superstitious beliefs can lead to harmful behaviors or prevent individuals from seeking necessary help. 1. Health risks. One of the most concerning aspects of superstitions is their potential to interfere with medical treatment. For example, in some cultures, people may rely on traditional healers or superstitious remedies instead of seeking professional medical care. This can lead to delays in treatment, worsening of conditions, and even death. A study conducted in Nigeria found that superstitious beliefs were a significant barrier to seeking medical care for conditions like malaria and HIV/AIDS. Patients who believed that their illness was caused by a curse or the evil eye were less likely to seek medical treatment, opting instead for traditional or spiritual remedies. 2. Financial consequences. Superstitions can also have financial implications. For instance, in the stock market, traders might engage in superstitious behaviors, such as following specific rituals before making trades or avoiding certain numbers. While these practices may provide a psychological boost, they can also lead to irrational decision-making and financial losses. A 2010 study published in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization examined the impact of superstitions on financial decisions. The researchers found that individuals who engaged in superstitious practices were more likely to make riskier investments and suffer greater losses compared to those who relied on rational decision-making strategies. Given the potential downsides of superstitions, how can individuals break free from these irrational beliefs? The first step is to recognize the psychological mechanisms that underpin superstitious thinking. 1. Education and awareness. Raising awareness about the origins and psychology of superstitions can help individuals understand why they believe what they do. Education can demystify superstitions, revealing them as cultural artifacts rather than truths. For example, schools can incorporate lessons on the history and science of superstitions into their curricula, helping students develop critical thinking skills. By understanding the cognitive biases that lead to superstitious beliefs, individuals can make more informed decisions and avoid falling into irrational patterns of thinking. 2. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. For those struggling with deeply ingrained superstitions, cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be an effective tool. CBT helps individuals identify and challenge irrational beliefs, replacing them with more rational and evidence-based thoughts. In the context of superstitions, a CBT therapist might work with a client to examine the evidence for and against a particular belief. For example, if a client believes that walking under a ladder will bring bad luck, the therapist might encourage them to walk under a ladder repeatedly while monitoring the outcomes. Over time, this process can help the client disassociate the action from the belief, breaking the cycle of superstition. 3. Mindfulness and stress management. Since superstitions often arise from anxiety and a desire for control, mindfulness and stress management techniques can be valuable in reducing reliance on superstitious practices. Techniques such as deep breathing, meditation, and progressive muscle relaxation can help individuals manage stress without resorting to rituals or superstitions. A study published in the Journal of Anxiety, Stress and Coping found that mindfulness-based stress reduction (MBSR) programs significantly reduced anxiety and superstitious thinking in participants. By focusing on the present moment and accepting uncertainty, individuals can reduce the need for superstitions as a coping mechanism. The future of superstitions as society continues to advance. Will superstitions fade away, or will they evolve alongside us? The answer is likely a bit of both. 1. The persistence of superstitions. Despite the growing influence of science and technology, superstitions are unlikely to disappear entirely. As long as uncertainty and randomness exist in the world, people will seek ways to make sense of it, and superstitions provide a convenient framework for doing so. Moreover, the rise of the internet and social media has given new life to old superstitions and even created new ones. For example, viral challenges and memes often involve superstitious elements, such as sharing a post to avoid bad luck or performing a ritual to achieve a desired outcome. These digital age superstitions reflect the same psychological needs as their ancient counterparts, adapted to a new medium. 2. The evolution of belief systems. However, it's also possible that as scientific literacy continues to increase, particularly among younger generations, superstitions may evolve into more symbolic or metaphorical practices rather than literal beliefs. In this scenario, superstitions could become a form of cultural expression or ritual, valued for their tradition and meaning rather than their supposed supernatural effects. For example, some people today still knock on wood or avoid walking under ladders, not because they believe in the associated superstitions, but because these actions have become cultural habits. In this way, superstitions could persist as a part of human culture, even as their original meanings fade. In conclusion, superstitions are a fascinating blend of history, psychology, and culture. They offer a window into the human mind, revealing our deep-seated need for control, meaning, and connection in an unpredictable world. While some superstitions may have practical or psychological benefits, others can be limiting or even harmful. By understanding the science behind superstitions, we can make more informed choices about which beliefs to hold on to and which to let go. Whether you consider yourself superstitious or not, exploring these beliefs can provide valuable insights into the human experience and the ways we navigate the complexities of life. So, the next time you find yourself reaching for a lucky charm or avoiding a black cat, take a moment to reflect on why you're doing it. You might discover that, even in the age of science, a little superstition still has its place in our lives.